Welcome, Rhonda here with Foods 101. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this apple cider pound cake. Absolutely fantastic for these chilly fall days coming up. The ingredients for the cake part is going to be a half a cup of apple cider, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 3 large eggs at room temperature, 1 1/2 cups of granulated sugar, 3/4 cups of butter at room temperature. It can be salted or unsalted, 1 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. This is the cake part. For the glaze part of this cake, you're going to need 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar or confectionery sugar. Some of you in the world will know this is icing sugar, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of apple cider. Let me show you how simple and easy this is to get together. In a medium bowl, I'm adding all our granulated sugar with that room temperature butter. See how nice and soft that is? That's what you're wanting. And if you don't have this softness on your butter, you can put it in your microwave, nuke it for about 5 seconds at a time until you get lovely and soft like this. Just adding the rest. I like using a hand mixer for this pound cake since it only makes a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan. You want to be sure you get your butters and sugars well blended. This will take about 3 to 4 minutes. After 3 minutes, it'll be looking like this. See how creamy that is? At this point, you want to make sure you scrape down the sides of the bowl as you go. Next, we're going to add 1 egg at a time, and as you can see, I've cracked it open and added them into a bowl. Much easier to transport from the bowl than the eggshell. We're going to mix this till we can no longer see the yellow. About 15 to 20 seconds. Be sure to scrape down the sides of the bowl as you go. Add the second egg. Your last egg. That looks perfect. We're going to alternate 1/3 of the flour, the baking soda, salt, and 1/3 of our half cup of apple cider on low speed until you get your flour mixed in. Oh, ooh, and I can smell that apple cider. Smells so yummy. And we're going to mix this until we can no longer see the flour. And turn it up to medium speed. That looks great. And again, make sure you scrape down the sides of your bowl. Very, very important for texture and flavor. Back with another 1/3 of our flour with the 1/3 of our apple cider. I can't tell you how good that apple cider smells. Fall is in the air, and mix till you can no longer see the flour. Scraping down the sides of the bowl as you go. Spatula always works best when scraping down the sides of your bowl. Add the remaining of your flour and your remaining apple cider. Mix till well blended. The last time you do this, you want to mix at least for 40 to 50 seconds. All right, turn up our speed. And continue scraping down the sides of your bowl. That looks great. Now this is ready for its baking loaf. I'm baking my cake in a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan that I've lightly greased and floured. And then I'm adding a piece of parchment paper where I've used those butter wrappers. And I'm going to lie it here in the bottom to ensure that my cake isn't going to stick. We're just going to spoon that apple cider pound cake into our loaf pan. Okay, just get it down in there. You can't hurt it. And it is going to make a hearty 9 by 5 loaf pan. With an additional spatula, I make sure I get it all off. With a skewer or a butter knife, we're going to run it back and forth through our batter. Why? Because we don't want any air bubbles in our cake once it bakes. And if you don't have one of these, go ahead and use a butter knife. It'll do the same thing. You just cut through it to make sure you don't have any air bubbles. And you want to make sure you give it a tap to make sure all the air bubbles are out. And this is off to a 350-degree preheated oven on the middle rack for the next 40 to 50 minutes or until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Use your timer and no peeking. Our apple cider pound cake has completed baking and oh my gosh, it smells fabulous. Now let me show you how I test this. To make sure it's completely baked, I use a toothpick. I go into the center, pull it out, no batter on that toothpick, so this cake is completely baked. I'm going to let it cool down here in its pan for 5 minutes. I've had my apple cider cake cooling for about 10 minutes. With that powdered sugar, we're going to add a little bit of that apple cider a little bit at a time, and we're going to use a little whisk, and we're going to start whisking it around. We want a thin consistency so we can pour over the top of our warm apple cider pound cake. Just whisk it until all the powdered sugar little lumps have disappeared. You may not need to use all your apple cider, as you can see. Just add a little bit at a time until you get this lovely consistency. Next, we're just gonna pour it evenly over the cake. Okay, just get it all over. And we're just gonna let this set up. It'll just gonna absorb into this warm cake and it's gonna be so delicious and yummy. You may want to tilt your pan to get it evenly coated. And I'm gonna let this sit here and I'm gonna let it cool down for 1 hour until we cut into it. So hang tight. Couldn't wait to dig into this apple cider pound cake. Let's see. Ooh, look how lovely and moist that is. And we got to get a little bite here on the corner. Wow. Still a little warm. That apple cider, the moistness of this cake is literally falling apart because it's still super warm. And looky here on the inside. Look how fabulous that is. This loaf pan, it makes 1 pound of this apple cider pound cake. Fabulous for this fall weather coming up. Winter too, spring and summer if you desire. I'm Deronda with Foods 101. Give me thumbs up, leave me a comment, hit that notification bell to be the first to get my new YouTube food videos. Thanks a million for watching, y'all. Stay safe, and I'll catch you lovely people later.